and his family. It's a riveting story, so I'd suggest that you pay very close attention because it could have an impact on you, particularly if you plan to go visit a place like Iran. Sarah Hekmati, thank you for joining us. What do you do? You're in Flint, Michigan. We're taping this at my NBC WEY 25 affiliate in Flint, Michigan. What do you do here in Flint?
Well, right now, by profession, I'm a school counselor. My master's is in social work, and I've really been dedicating my time now for the past almost 4 years to my brother's campaign.
We're going to get to your brother's campaign because that is the meat of the story today. Your parents are Iranians.
Absolutely.
They grew up in Iran.
Yes.
They came to the United States when?
So my father came when he was 18 years old. He has a PhD in microbiology. He came here as a young student and obtained his degree, went back to Iran and married my mother, and then came here in 1979. Myself, my brother and sister were born in Arizona and grew up there, but then ultimately most of our childhood was spent in Michigan. So we grew up in Flint. My father was a college professor at Mott College and was a microbiology professor for over 20 years.
Now, your grandparents did not come to the United States.
Right.
They remained in Iran.
We have no extended family here in the U.S.
Right.
My family, when they came here, we had all of our extended family there.
Amir decided to serve his country in the capacity as a Marine.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
So obviously we were afforded so many privileges growing up in this country. My father was a successful professor. He instilled in us this whole notion of the American dream and what kind of life we have here compared to people overseas. And so my brother really valued that and wanted to give back. And so after he graduated from high school, he enlisted in the military and he served in the Marine Corps for 4 years. He was deployed in Iraq. He served honorably. He was, very, very successful, had served, and really for us, we were proud of him and what he did and what he was able to accomplish. Shortly after that, he enlisted in some contractual work for the government, but then also was a successful businessman, and so we were very proud of him. But he obviously had this void where he missed his grandmother, was very connected to her, and she was obviously a fond memory in his childhood and wanted to be able to go see her before it was too late for her time.
What year did he finally, everybody else had gone, what year, date, month did he decide to go? He went through the process with the U.S. Embassy in Washington, D.C. He applied, going to see his grandmother. Let's start there.
So he got permission from, there's an Iranian consulate. We don't have an Iranian embassy here in the U.S., but the consulate approved his travel. And before he went, he actually gave them as a disclaimer, due to certain political tensions and his awareness of that between the U.S. and Iran, he asked them if his military service would pose a problem if he were to go visit his grandmother. He's obviously going as he's not going for any business or any other motivation, and they honored that and they gave him time. He actually spent 2 weeks there, and it was shortly around the time that he was...
What year was this?
This was in August of 2011.
Okay.
And so during the 2 weeks that he was there, he was in touch with my mom while he was abroad and was really just cherishing this time. He was meeting aunts and uncles and other relatives that he had never seen, and just seeing the place where his parents grew up. I mean, this is really like a story anybody that has extended family abroad could relate to. Wanting to have that connection, wanting to feel like they know what it's like to have family besides their parents. And so he was just really embracing everything around him. And it was on August 29th, he called in the morning. He told my mom that he was going to a family gathering that they had put together for him. It was a holiday for them over there. He was going to meet a lot of family, and the family told us that he never showed up. And so we were worried sick. They went to the cousin's apartment that he was getting ready at, and they found that the door had been broken into. His belongings had been taken. It was obvious that there was a scuffle that had taken place. And we frantically called the Iranian consulate in Washington. We contacted the State Department. We contacted the UN mission of Iran in New York, and nobody could confirm his whereabouts. We actually had gotten, my brother was able to make a phone call after he was captured and told one of my relatives that he was taken to Evin prison, which is a very known prison in Iran. And my relatives went to the prison and they were told that nobody by this name is a prisoner there. It wasn't until 4 months, and you know, for all we knew at this point, he was kidnapped. We had no confirmation of his whereabouts. 4 months went by and they confirmed that he was indeed on their prisoner list and was actually being investigated for his role in the U.S. military, and that there was speculation that he was in Iran not to visit his grandmother but for spying for the U.S. government.
Unbelievable. If you were not hearing it, you would not believe it. Much more, including